Please subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. As the sun dipped below the mountain ridge, casting hues of tangerine and deep violet across the sky, my parents' car rolled to a gentle halt along Highway 16. We passed a gas station about 30 miles back, and I wondered if the engine was acting up. I was mistaken. The problem wasn't the car, it was them. My daughter, Kay, slumbered beside me in the back seat, her small head nestled against my leg, her fingers gripping the edge of her pink stuffed bunny, the one constant in her world that hadn't let her down. At 7, she was tiny and soft-spoken. I devoted her entire life to shielding her from the chaos I'd endured growing up. "Get out," my dad barked, his eyes locking onto mine through the rearview mirror, as if I were a stranger. I blinked, stunned. "What?" My mom swiveled in the front seat, sunglasses still perched on her nose despite the fading light. "Out. Now. We're done carrying your mistakes." Her voice was cold, final. "We gave you a ride out of pity. That pity's gone." I froze. My dad flung his door open, stormed around to mine, and yanked it wide. "Get out, or I'll make you," he snarled. I tightened my arms around Kay, who was still asleep. "She's sleeping. Please don't." The door swung open, letting in a rush of chilly air and a deafening silence that roared louder than words. I glanced at my mom, still seated, now casually filing her nails, as if we were delaying her from something urgent. "I don't have money for a taxi," I whispered. "Then walk," she snapped. "Follow the traffic. Maybe someone worthwhile will take your place." My dad reached in, pulling Kay out first, her bunny still clutched tightly as she stirred, half awake. I stumbled out after her, pleading, "Wait, Dad, please." He shoved me, and I hit the ground, knees grinding into gravel, palms stinging against the pavement. Kay whimpered softly. Then I saw my sister, Mia, slide into the back seat I'd just vacated. She popped her gum, flashing a smug grin out the window, as if she were being driven to a gala. "You know," she taunted, "this car feels lighter without the baggage." They peeled away, taillights glowing red before vanishing into the twilight, as if they'd erased me from their lives like trash. Kay's voice trembled beside me. "Mommy, are we in trouble?" I pulled her close, biting my cheek to hold back tears. "No, sweetheart. We're just finding our next stop." I couldn't break down, not yet, not until I got us off this road, not until she was safe. I tried waving down cars. 1, 2 for sped by, ignoring us as if we were ghosts, or worse, irrelevant. One driver even accelerated, like I was a threat. Kay started coughing, her thin sweater no match for the cold. I wrapped my hoodie around her, the asphalt chilling beneath us. The highway's edge offered no shoulder, no light, no help. My phone was gone. They'd smashed it 2 weeks earlier when I refused to hand over my tax refund. I hadn't fought back, just stayed quiet, the way they taught me to survive. Kay tugged my sleeve. "Mom, will Grandma come back?" I shook my head. "No, she thinks we'll manage on our own." Her eyes searched mine. "But we don't even know where we are." "I know," I murmured. We walked, my sandals disintegrating until I went barefoot, Kay clutching her bunny like it held the promise of bedtime stories. I gripped her hand so tightly I worried I'd leave marks. Finally, a man in an old pickup stopped. He didn't pry, just glanced at Kay, then me, then back to her. "Need a safe place?" he asked. I nodded. He let us ride in the truck bed, offering blankets and a thermos of tepid tea. I wept silently as Kay sipped. At the nearest town, he dropped us at a diner, handing me a $20 bill. "Get her something warm," he said. "I've got 2 daughters. Could have been them." I thanked him, not asking his name, maybe because I didn't want to share mine. Shame didn't need to follow me into another moment. We stayed in that diner until dawn. I watched Kay sleep across the booth, and it hit me. I'd spent my life pleading for love from people who loathe me. They tried to abandon me on a highway in front of my daughter. But this wouldn't end in sobs. It would end with a lesson, one etched in stone. And I'd craft it with silence, cunning, and patience. Because when you grind someone into the dirt, sometimes they grow into the roots that rip your foundation apart. On our second day at the diner, the owner, Marlene, a reserved woman in her 50s, noticed us. Kay was pale from sleeping upright on the booth, and I was stretching a single muffin across 2 meals, refusing to beg. I just needed time, a safe corner, a moment to breathe. Marlene didn't probe. After the lunch rush, she sat across from me and said, "You're not fleeing. You're rebuilding." That's different. Her words broke something in me. I hadn't heard kindness in months. She offered me a dishwashing job in the kitchen and a broom closet upstairs to sleep in. She even left secondhand clothes for Kay without a word. No grand gestures, just quiet respect, something my own family never gave me. I worked every hour I could. Kay started at a local school, thanks to a connection of Marlene's. It was modest, but her smiles returned, smiles I hadn't seen in months. I didn't tell her about my revenge, but each night, after she slept, I planned. My parents had made a critical error when they left us on that highway. They forgot, or never considered, that they lived their lives online. My dad hosted a podcast on financial leadership, hiding behind a polished persona with thousands of followers. My mom, a school board chair, was adored for her charity work. My sister, a lifestyle influencer, posted glossy vlogs and motivational quotes. Their public lives were pristine, curated lies, and they never imagined I could dismantle them. But I had something they didn't know about. 3 years ago, while raising Kay in their house, I'd set up a baby monitor in her room. It had cloud recording, capturing not just her sleep, but hallway arguments, screams, and conversations about money, things no child should hear. I had years of audio. My parents joking about cutting me off to teach me a lesson. My mom mocking disabled students at her school. My sister bragging about misusing charity funds for fake designer bags. All saved on a $30 monitor's cloud backup. And now it was mine. For a month, I worked 2 jobs, slept 3 hours a night, and learned to edit audio clips. I built a silent weapon. Using a pseudonym, I started a TikTok and YouTube channel, no face, just captions, visuals, and leaked audio. Each video began, "What lies beneath the perfect family's polished facade?" I didn't narrate my story. I let their words expose them. At first, the videos barely got views. Then one clip, my sister drunkenly laughing about buying followers and stealing a speech for an award, exploded. 1 million views in 48 hours, then 2, then 5. People connected the dots, recognized voices. Her followers turned, brands dropped her, and comment sections burned with outrage. My mom's clips, mocking students with disabilities, spread among parents in her district. Petitions formed, then protests. By her next board meeting, news vans waited outside. My dad tried to salvage his podcast, but someone swapped his intro with a clip of him saying, "I don't fund losers, even if they're my wife's kids." The silence that followed was the sweetest sound I'd ever heard. They never suspected me. While they scrambled to save face, I rebuilt my life. Kay and I moved into a small apartment above the diner, with Marlene's help on the first month's rent. Strangers who saw the videos sent small donations, notes saying, "I was you once. Keep going." I took up freelance editing, staying off camera. My voice reached millions, louder than any revenge could be, without ever saying my name. But I wasn't finished. 6 months after the first video went viral, a lawyer's letter arrived. Families in the school district were filing a class action lawsuit against the board, using my clips as evidence. The lawyer asked if I'd testify anonymously. My voice had become a beacon for parents whose children were ignored or mocked. I agreed. The trial was set for May, but I had one more move. I hadn't spoken to my family since the highway. They didn't know I was thriving. My revenge was precise, never emotional. I didn't need to yell. I let them unravel. Then a newspaper headline hit. Board chair resigns amid audio scandal. Below it, a blurred screenshot of my mom, mid-blink, sneering. Subheadlines mentioned investigations into misused funds. 2 days later, my sister posted a tearful TikTok claiming betrayal and begging for forgiveness. She disabled comments. I could have stopped there, but I had one final act. I rented a small event space in a park, sending invitations under a fake charity name. Hope for Daughters, pitched as a photo op for mothers who inspire. I invited my parents, my sister, and their former allies, knowing they'd come to salvage their reputations. They arrived, my dad in a too-tight blazer, my sister in angelic white, my mom clutching her pearls. The room was dim with one screen. The door locked softly behind them, and the screen flickered on. It wasn't audio leaks this time, just a home video I'd edited. K, age 5, coloring at a plastic table, the timestamp from the week they abandoned us. She looked at the camera and asked, "Mommy, do Grandma and Grandpa love me, or only if I'm better than Sarah?" Silence, then my voice. "They don't know love, but I do, and I always will." No accusations, just a memory they'd thrown away, now confronting them. The lights rose. I stepped out, holding Kay's hand. She stood tall, unafraid, and looked at them. "You left me on the road," she said, "but I didn't need you to find home." We walked past. My mom's hand twitched, wordless. My dad stared at the floor. My sister whispered, "Please let me explain." I kept walking. Outside, reporters and former fans waited. One asked, "Anything to say to those who hurt you?" I smiled softly. They showed me who not to be. That's enough. I didn't look back. Please subscribe to my channel and let me know in the comments where you're watching from.